Hola amigos, aquí su carnal, Keepin it Loco. I mean, I don't even know what you call me, but call me whatever you want. Just don't call me an a-hole. But aquí estamos with my homie, Big Mo, and Drinking with Mo's. And hopefully see you guys later. And maybe hear me, maybe see me. I don't know what to say, but just come on by and just say what's up. Give me a shout out. Give everyone a shout out. Love you guys. Catch you later.
All right, everybody. Want to thank Reaper Apparel for having Drinkin at Mo's be a brand ambassador. They encourage everybody to break out of that comfort zone, live their best self, which, hey, that's what got me starting the podcast. But they got great clothing, great apparel, t-shirts, hoodies, beanies, hats, all that good stuff. Be sure, link will be in the description, and use the code Drinkin at Mo's to get 10% off your order. Let's fucking go.
All right, everybody, welcome to Drinkin at Mo's. Big Mo here. YouTube, as always, like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good shit, because it helps with the pain in the ass algorithm. We're most places you can find your podcast. Today, I'm excited to have with me because I have been paying attention to this man for a while. Loco, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, dude? Everything's good. How are you? We've been talking for a while, and then finally, I get to be on your show, bro.
Oh yeah, no, I've been excited. You've been one that been one on for a little bit, but life and things happen, so we're all good. We're here now. Been a little bit of a crazy year for me, but hey, we're doing some good things. I'm coming up on another birthday here next month, so trying to keep positive.
Oh man, I know how that feels. I'm going for the big 4-0 in the end of this year, so
that's what I'm going for next month.
Man, I'll see you when I get there.
Yeah, my wife loves to remind me, dude, you're gonna be turning 40. I'm like, yeah, don't remind me.
Let it just happen.
Yeah, no, well, it was gonna happen sooner or later, and I guess I'm happening up on the later now.
Yep. Salud.
First thing I like to start off with everybody with is what got you started as a fan, and then what got you started deciding to make the leap into the business, the crazy business that we know of professional wrestling.
Bro, I used to love watching Lucha Libre with my dad. I mean, every Sunday, every Saturday, we would turn on Galavisión, and all we had was AAA. We had AAA El Consejo. That's what we watched, and the main people that we watched and we enjoyed was Octagon. We watched Perro Aguayo and Conan. That was like the main thing we watched, man. It was just happening. Lucha Libre was always like a big thing for me, and that's the first thing I started watching. Later on in the years, I discovered WWF. It's like, holy shit, I don't know who the hell Hulk Hogan was until like 93.
Oh man. Yeah. Like, oh boy. I remember myself started, back when WWF, WWE now was more of a syndicated thing. So it was kind of hit and miss on whether we got it or not. But the more consistent one ended up being WCW Saturday Night.
Yeah.
And growing up in a Catholic household, my parents always wanted to go to mass on Saturday evenings, so it was always like, I want to watch wrestling.
Yeah, dude.
And then AAA, I remember I was stationed out in San Diego for my enlistment, and I remember I'd be flipping through the channels, and all of a sudden I'd see AAA coming on. I'm like, oh, I'm like, it would catch my eye because you know, all of the stuff that Lucha Libre is known for, the fast pace and the movements and everything. It was like, okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, and that's all I knew. That when I was a kid, that's all I knew. Lucha Libre, that's Lucha Libre. That's what I saw. But then later on, I started we started seeing glimpses of Hulk Hogan, Bret Hart. I was like, man, I've always been a big Bret Hart fan. Shawn Michaels, those are the. And when I really never knew about any of these shows happening in the weekends. Shoot, I didn't know of Raw until like in '96 or '97.
Mm.
There was a period of time I had no cable, so the only way I actually watched wrestling was going to the video store and renting old videos out. Bro, I remember renting almost every single WWF pay-per-view from the 80s, 90s. I was watching them nonstop.
Oh,
the only ones I never really watched was WCW. They never really had like any pay-per-views for rental.
You know what? That is true. I don't seem to remember too many of their pay-per-views on the video rental store shelves, but I do remember growing up loving whenever I'd see that they'd have different WWE ones available. Like my absolute favorite ones to rent were always the Royal Rumbles.
Oh, dude, that was my best ones too. If anything, the Royal Rumble was always my big pay-per-view. I could care less about any other pay-per-view. Like WrestleMania, whatever, but Royal Rumble for me was like the thing. You always get those surprises there. You always get those wrestlers. I'm like, holy shit! It was great. And that one, and then afterwards, King of the Ring was one of my other favorite ones. That was I love that tournament. And then of course Survivor Series. I think the best one that I've always loved was Royal Rumble, King of the Ring, and Survivor Series. That's always been my.
Oh yeah,
and then they ruined it.
Yeah, King of the Ring kind of fell off when you would always imagine, and I think they actually advertised it for a while, that the guy that won would get title shot.
Mm-hmm.
But then they kind of fell away from doing that, and it kind of lost its luster in a way.
Yeah.
But oh man, back when Survivor Series was all the traditional Survivor Series matches, the teams, and seeing all the different mashups they have. And, something else.
Obviously, my favorite one has always been Gang Rules, the whole Montreal Screwjob. That one was because they had those teams. Everyone was strong. Everyone was actually believable that anyone can win that tournament. And that's the thing. It was a good pay-per-view.
Though that it was. And good Lord, man, I could go on and on about some of those. Like I'm trying to remember. I think one of my personal favorites, and I can't remember what year it was. I'm wanting to say it was the Royal Rumble, and Andre the Giant got scared by Jake the Snake. Climbed over the top rope.
I can't remember.
Himself. He was like, nope, I'm not dealing with that. Oh,
that was a good one. Yeah,
that was an absolute favorite of mine. What kind of going back to the second part of that first question of mine? What made you decide to finally make the leap into the business? Like everybody has that point that's like, you know what, this is what I want to do.
I got my tax refund in 2008 and decided to go training.
Okay. Hey, sometimes
no, but like I again, when I was growing up, I had no idea what the indies were. I had no idea that there were schools for wrestling. I didn't know you could become a wrestler by going to these schools. So when I was a kid, I literally was doing a lot of not necessarily, well, I guess you could call it backyard wrestling. It was just me and my brother would put mattresses in our garage and then just toss each other. We'll toss each other here and there. And then we finally found out that the local flea market little swap me over boy where I started training had a wrestling ring.
Mm.
We were like, what the hell? And then we found out that they have wrestling every Sunday. Holy shit. You know what I mean? So we used to actually sneak in and just use the ring and then just bump around. It was just me and my brother. All we did was just bump around. We copied moves. We actually we would slow things down and watch how they're done. You know, like the first move I ever put my brother in was the sharpshooter. I remember that clearly. But then yeah, like when as I was growing up now as an adult, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I wanna get in, but I never had like the itch to go and actual wrestle. I enjoy wrestling, but like nah. And then I guess it was in 2008 when I finally decided, you know what? And I'm not kidding. I had my tax refund. I'm like, I can pay for at least a year of training. So I just said, you know what? I got it. I got the money. Let's train me. And I remember little Cholo was the first one there to train me from day one, and like I said, the rest is history. But basically that, I mean, it is just something that I just decided to shit. Let's make it happen. See where it takes me.
Coincidentally, same year that you started training was the year that I entered the Navy. Year I went to boot camp. I'm approaching the anniversary of the date that I was supposed to leave. I ended up leaving the day after. I'm gonna have to pause real quick. My wife is apparently forgetting that I'm recording right now. So I'll pause it real quick and we'll get right back at it.
Yeah.
Ah, crap. Pause. All right, we're back at it. I got that taken care of. But yeah, I was mentioning about the year you started training was the year that I went into Navy boot camp.
Yeah.
And like literally here in a couple days is the end. Actually, this coming Monday was the day that I was supposed to leave.
Oh,
but they have the big College World Series here in Omaha every year. And it was the town that I was leaving out of. So they found out that they couldn't find me a flight out. So I had to stay at the hotel again.
Uh-huh.
So it was, and I ended up, like you, kind of discovering independent wrestling a little later. It was actually when I was down in San Diego. I was Googling pro wrestling in San Diego and ended up, boom, there was a New Wave at the time. And then a little while later, SoCal Pro, which, one of the promotions that I've actually seen you pop up at quite regularly, not so much lately, but you have popped up there quite a bit.
Yeah, I love SoCal Pro. I've been there a few times, and that's where, you meet a lot of these guys that are just amazing. They have a good training school. So, big props to SoCal Pro. I want to go back. Just I haven't had the call back.
Yeah, they have quite the talent coming around there, and actually, one of the guys that he's been making up for lost time lately. The guy pretty big there, pretty big all throughout Southern California, really. SoCal Crazy was
my brother, mi carnal, loves SoCal. I mean,
he's like a brother to me,
bro. He's one of the best guys out there. Always, it's he's been wrestling longer than I have, and he has more experience than I have. But how humble this guy is. Messages me and sends me his match that he had, the weekend before. It's like, hey, check it out. Tell me what you think. Give me some pointers. I'm like, bro, really? I was like, pointers for me? I'm like, no, man, it's the other way around. But that's the kind of guy he is. I mean, no matter who, who's in, I guess how much more experience you have, but he's gonna go out there and just take advice from just anyone. And I was like, man, dude, that's big.
Oh yeah, and I remember when I don't want to put a damper on things, but we're coming up on Father's Day, and my wife and I were pregnant with twin girls, and unfortunately, they were born prematurely and only made it a week. They're the reason I got this tattoo on my arm. And it was, well, he was getting ready for that benefit show of his.
Yeah.
And I didn't suggest this because I already knew he had a good cause going. But without me even saying anything, he's like, we're also double dedicating the show to your girls. I'm like,
Beautiful.
God damn, getting me all choked up and shit.
Bro, again, that's a kind of person, this guy. He's very selfless, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
So,
Definitely.
you know, and then, you know, when he told me about his cancer, man, I was just, I'm like, why? You know what I mean? Why you? You know? I mean, I don't wish anyone upon anything about this, but it's like, dude, I was like, you're like the greatest fucking person, and you have to deal with this shit. I was like, man. And then finally, when he told me that he was cancer free, bro, I just same thing. And as soon as he told me about that show, I was like, bro, in a heartbeat. You tell me when. If I have to cancel anything, I will cancel. I will be there. So, man, that kind of shows you kind of the kind of person he is. And I'm happy he did that for you. And again, my condolences, and I'm sorry what happened, but you know what I mean. That's the kind of people we need in this world. Definitely. And I'm glad that he is there to kind of help us as well. You know what I mean? Just to show us, you know, we could all be like him.
Definitely. And he's been the type that, like, I've just randomly started getting those little TikToks, those reels of different motivational things periodically. I'm like, I'll respond most of the time. I'm like, I needed that.
Yeah.
Definitely the type of guy he is. And, you know, one place that I first actually became familiar with you was Lucha Underground.
Oh,
and that, like, I remember thinking, this is unique. Like, when it comes to professional wrestling in general, there's not so much originality in, like, the presentations and different aspects of it. Lucha Underground definitely was unique. And what was it like kind of being a part of that whole thing? Because you were there for quite a while.
Bro, it was like one of the best experiences I've had. I'm not joking. It's like Lucha Underground basically took the concept of, you know, it's a soap opera for male. But they made storylines, they made everything just perfect. The way the stories tied into the wrestling, it was great. You know, we had a lot of creative control most of the time, at least in my character when I was playing Saltador with the Rabbit Tribe with Paul and Cholo. But it's like it was just great, and just learning it and just seeing everyone in there. Like, you had Chavo Guerrero, we had Vampiro, we had Conan there. I mean, just to name a few of the best. And their minds just and then it was great that the talent was great. I mean, the atmosphere was great. I never once felt like I was looked down upon. It was just an amazing experience, and I miss it. I wish it could have gone longer, but things happen for a reason. But either way, it's like, man, that place was just great for the business. Look what happened right after. We have NXT, we have AEW, we have. If it wasn't for Lucha Underground, a lot of these companies, a lot of these places wouldn't be what they are now.
And look at the amount of talent that came out of there that are in some of those companies. Like, they went under different characters at the time, but let's say Ricochet, the amazing things that he's doing. A guy that I was thinking of that I almost forgot that he went by this character, but Swerve going as kill shot at the time.
Yep, exactly.
And it's like, holy crap, when I kind of forgot that was him. And then when I think it was an interview on AEW, actually, where Renee Paquette was talking with Swerve and mentioned that John Moxley loved Killshot, and I'm like, holy shit, that was him, wasn't it?
Yep. You forget because you're so intrigued in their stories. It's like, man, I'm like, yeah. And then when you realize, I'm like, holy shit, you're right. That's these guys.
And I remember when I want to say I was watching a Wrestle Kingdom one year, and Ricochet was on there, and I think I had actually just watched some of Lucha Underground, and I recognized that tattoo on his shoulder, and I'm like, wait a minute. And that's where I started putting two together on him. I'm like, wait a minute, that was Prince Puma.
Yeah, man. Everyone's, Luchasaurus is still wrestling under the same gimmick as he was wrestling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
How much it worked out for him.
Oh, yeah. And, that Luchasaurus, that kind of fit along with a lot of the different characters that went along with Lucha Underground. So it was definitely interesting. And it was kind of sad when some of the behind the scenes, the contract stuff came up, and because I remember watching some of the last episodes, and I'm like, almost felt like after I saw that news and how it kind of just got shoved off, there's like, damn, kind of left me on a cliffhanger there.
Yeah.
But it was something.
A lot of those things happened, and it was just horrible. I mean, the way it was just at the end was just like, man, it's like everything was good. First season was great. Second season was amazing. And then it's like, things started happening. And again, it's just, I'm never going to talk bad about Lucha Underground. It was great. When Rey Mysterio hopped in, I was like, oh my God, it was amazing. Someone like that,
those trios
company,
titles.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
That was something. I remember when I saw him pop up, I'm like, oh, damn. You got Rey Mysterio. All right. Yep. And then the other one thing I was thinking of, because you brought up Cholo a couple times, is you actually being in a tag team with him with called the, and correct me if I'm wrong, still called the Lucha Homies.
That's right. That's right.
And I've loved watching some of your guys' matches. I can't remember certain matches in particular, but some of the matches and then like the promos that I see you guys doing, I'm like, oh, okay, I dig these guys.
Yeah. It's fun. It was fun. I haven't tagged him with him in a while. I took a little short break. But hopefully we get to tag again soon. But it was fun. It's a dynamic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm more of I'm the the goofy, the excited one, the one that just doesn't shut up. Cholo, this boring ass Cholo, stern, and it just plays well. I mean, just going back and forth, and then when people think that our chemistry is not there, boom, that's when we get them. But I've enjoyed tagging with Cholo. Again, like I said, Cholo taught me a lot in this business, taught me everything that I know. Where not only he's my teacher, but he's also a great friend. He's like a brother. So it's like it was a great experience. It was good to tag with him, and it's I'm not saying it's not gonna happen, but we'll tag again. We'll get the Lucha Homies back again, and then people love those videos. I mean, everything we do is almost off the fly. We just sit there and say, what do you want to do today? Let's talk about some other bull crap, and we'll just go with it. It was like we feed off each other pretty well.
That you guys do. And, coincidentally, next week, unless something happens, having to reschedule, I will actually be recording with him. I'm forgetting which day next week, but it's happening next week.
Oh, shoot. Okay. See if you mentions me, little jerk.
I'll I'll see what I can do there. But I'm imagining actually when I schedule these out, how I do. I've been doing about 2 a week, so I'm thinking I might have you two in the same week.
Awesome.
I'm thinking that would be a good fit right there, since we've been talking about lucha homies. Having the two of y'all in the same week would be pretty cool.
No, man, it'd be awesome. And again, it's always been a blast wrestling, and it's funny because we were thinking of names to name ourselves, like we're Cholo and Loco, and like it's not working. We just sit there. I was like, well, why don't you just, I'm the lucha guy, you're more of the homie, so kind of going together. I mean, yeah, you could say that, you're getting it from the Lucha Bros. I'm like, no, not really. I mean, you could put Lucha in front of everyone, no matter.
If I remember right, you two were doing Lucha. Was it before them technically becoming Lucha Bros? So
me and Cholo have been tagging for a long, long time. I get that they're brothers, and then they just started calling their Lucha Bros. But I'll give them credit. They got their name before we did, and then we just
gotcha.
It's better for us because we're the Lucha homies, okay?
Yeah, I got you. Now, one thing that, and I don't want to bring up too much of a sore subject. One thing I was thinking of, because I remember a while back hearing you used to have a more to your name.
Mariachi Loco.
Yes.
It's all right.
I was like, because I saw it, like you used to have it on Facebook and different things, and then it kind of switched up.
Yeah.
Are you okay with elaborating a little bit on how that
of course
all happened?
I basically legally did not own that name. I was always in the impression that I could use this name whenever I wanted. The gentleman that owns that name obviously wanted this name back because, I don't know, maybe I was making way too much money. I don't know. So, I decided, I was like, you know what? I don't want any trouble. Maybe I don't need the name. I have no clue. I always said to myself, and I kind of had that in the back of my head. I'm sure he's going to try to get that name back. I'm sure he's trying to get it. I'm not sure what he's going to use it for, but regardless what it is, no matter what anyone says or whatever happens to that name, I will forever be that person regardless.
Yeah.
I am the person who created this persona. This is the person inside the mask that made that name more than anything. That name did not make me. If anything, he presented me with that character, and he said, "Can you work with it?" And guess what? I work with it more than anything. I made that work, and I made it lovable, and I brought it back to life.
Oh yeah, no, you definitely did amazing things with that character. That's for sure.
It's like, I can't. If I don't own it, then whatever. I'll change that. So, and like I said, if I can't be mariachi, I'm keeping it loco.
I like it. I like it.
Regardless what it is. Recently I tried to take the name because it wasn't registered, because I found out that he was trying to, sell it to me for this large sum. But I'm like, come on. So I tried to see if I could, get it. And at one point now, right before the trademark people came over and said, hey, we need just a couple of things before we finalize it. I kind of said to myself, I don't want the well, how would you say it? I don't want to deal with it anymore.
I got you.
I honestly don't care, regardless what it is. I'm You can call me Loco. You can call me Keepin It Loco. People still call me Mariachi. People know me as Mariachi. I can't stop and say, hey, don't call me that.
Right,
But
yeah.
whenever a logo comes up, I just make sure, hey, if you don't want any trouble, if you don't want that guy calling you, just put it Loco. Obviously, as you could see, the mask is new. Somewhat looks similar, but it's
I was
just
going to say, I can see the similarities.
so it's not a big change. It's just stuff that I just added that I was just going to add. So it's good. I mean, I if anyone's going to kill that character, it's going to be me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
If
completely
anyone's going to get rid of that, it's going to be me. And if that character happens to be played by a different person, hey, more power to him. I hope he does it better than I did, because not to toot my own horn, but those are some big ass shoes to fill.
And you know what? I can imagine that at least definitely at the very start of if somebody else were to go under that name, that people are actually going to revert back to you.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Definitely.
That's what it is.
Now, I have two categories that I kind of like to round stuff off with. First one, a bit of a name game where like I have some people that you've either shared a ring with, at least share a locker room with, and you give me your thoughts on the person.
God damn, bro. I don't like anyone in this business. Shoot, I would try to be as honest as possible. I'll have a filter on.
First one guy that I've actually been able to meet when my show got invited to Warrior Wrestling when they did a stop in St. Louis. He went up against, at the time, Jonah, going back by Bronson Reed, but Jeff Cobb, at that time that you were with him in Lucha Underground, he was going by the Monster Matanza Cueto.
Man, Jeff is a big teddy bear, bro. He is the kindest human as well, bro. He just fun to be around with. I have so many pictures that I shouldn't share because my man is a great guy, like all around. He looks way younger for his age. I think he's about our age.
Mm.
He looks like he's in his mid-20s. I'm like, wow.
I was gonna say,
bro, he's an amazing athlete. He's an amazing wrestler, and I'm happy for what he's doing right now. He's doing great, and I love Jeff Cobb. I mean, if I could say one bad thing about him, will probably be that he sucks at makeup.
Okay.
We were screwing around one time in Lucha Underground, and they were painting my eyes because I was Sinestro de la Muerte that time. So he's painting it, and he was like taking forever, and it's just.
Oh man,
yeah.
When I got to meet him at Warrior Wrestling, the nicest dude. I remember getting one of his wrestling figures signed by him there, and it's gonna be up in my man cave when I actually start getting stuff displayed down there. But I remember I was close enough at the show when him and Bronson Reed, when they were going up against each other, and like when they would chop each other, oh my God, like you could see individual beads of sweat just flying off. And
and let me tell you, Jeff is probably the strongest person in this world for his. I mean, he's a guy. He's
shorter than me, but good Lord, he was suplexing Bronson Reed.
He lifts people like if it was a piece of shoe, man. It's just amazing the strength that this guy has. when we were wrestling a couple of times, and he lifted me up like I was a baby, bro. I was like, holy shit,
He makes it look so effortless and easy.
dude. Amazing, man. Amazing.
Oh, totally. Nothing but good things to say about him. Another guy, you know what? A lot of these coincidentally were ones that you shared Lucha Underground with. This guy, believe when in Lucha Underground, he just went by the Mac, but Willie Mac.
Willie and I go way back. This dude, same thing. So much energy, so much talent on Willie, man. I mean, just don't share a hotel room because he will just air dry naked. But every time I go to Vegas, he's the first one that hits me up and says, "Hey, come hang out." I wrestle even here. We used to wrestle at the swap meet. He used to be there all the time, you know. And he's another guy. I mean, just talent. So you go in there, and he's like, you know, what do you want to do? Whatever. Shit. And just when he's in the ring, he's just a monster too, dude. It was like the matches he had in Lucha Underground was just amazing. It's like,
oh yeah,
it's like wow, you know,
totally.
And it's just one of the other guys that I'm happy for. He's had a great career. He's still doing great. Nothing's stopping. Just all around good guy.
Oh yeah, and one thing that I like about him is, for a guy his size, you wouldn't expect for him a guy that size to be able to pull off some of the stuff that he does. Yeah. Like you see him and the way he moves around, you think of more of like the junior heavyweights and the cruiserweights, that sort of style.
He's a husky guy.
He's something else, and just I'm hoping that he continues to get on to more big stages because, good Lord,
because I know that he's been doing AAA a lot. So
I was gonna say, I thought I saw him popping up around there, but yeah, no, I'm loving him. I'm hoping he gets back on some of the bigger stages here in the States, because some of the people that are in the different promotions from where he had a pretty good run there in Impact, and some of the talent that they got going through there now, AEW, Ring of Honor, they got, although he has popped up there now that I think about it.
He has.
And
had a little run. He had a little run at Impact Wrestling.
There, yes. And, stuff like some of the talent that WWE has, I would love seeing him going up against a guy like Kevin Owens.
Oh, bro. That would be amazing, and I know he had a chance at WWE. Some medical issues happened, and it kind of just they kind of backed up a little bit. But I mean, like, dude, they made a big mistake on Willie. Huge mistake.
Totally. Next up, another guy that I'd actually got to meet, and it was at a promotion called Wrestling Revolver, ran by Sammy Callahan. Swerve, or like we called him a little bit ago, Kill Shot.
Swerve, man, you know what? I've never really had a full-on conversation with him. We talk. It's just he loves this business. He loves it. He knows exactly what he's just an amazing talent. Like, totally. And speak to him, it was just wrestling, and and that's one thing, Brett, not being able to at least have a conversation outside of wrestling and just hanging out with him. But other than that, I mean, he's never, I've never had anything negative said about him. And even the few times that we actually spoke, I mean, he's okay in my book.
Oh yeah, no, but the time that I got to meet him, it was, like I said, at that show, and I was a little bummed out because I brought 3 wrestling figures there that I wanted to get signed. Rich Swann, Keith Lee, and Swerve. I had bought them all, and I'm like, okay, I know they're going to be here. This is going to be awesome. And then they had the pre-show meet and greet, and none of the 3 were out there. I was like, well, damn it. So then intermission, I went out, and I'm like, well, damn it. And then after the show ended, I'm like, well, shit, I haven't met one of them. And then first one popped up like 2 feet behind me. There was Rich Swann. And then I go out to the parking lot a little bummed out still because I'm like, well, didn't get to meet Swerve or Keith Lee. Well, I get out partway down the parking lot and I see somebody filming the promo out in the parking lot. I get a little closer and it's Swerve. So I'm like, okay, I will hold on to my figures. And I'm like, okay, I'll stand back, let him finish the promo. And such a cool guy to talk to. I only got to talk to him for a little bit, but such a cool guy to talk to. I kind of he asked about going to an AEW show, and I'm like, if they actually went anywhere closer than 3 hours from me, I might, but you guys have never come closer than Kansas City, and that's like 3 hours away from me. So it's like, it's kind of hit and miss on whether I can go.
Yeah.
But like I said, nothing but good things to say about him. And it's funny, and I've talked with a few people about this, that nowadays it's like some of the people, when you see their in-ring persona and like their persona in front of the camera, and they're like an absolute dick.
Yeah.
But then you talk to them behind the scenes and like outside of that, and like the coolest people.
Yeah. And that's all it is, man. We just need to know how to turn it on and off like that.
Definitely. There's some people that do a damn good job of it.
Oh yeah.
Next up, a guy that we both consider like a brother, like family, SoCal Crazy.
Bro, if I haven't said enough about this guy, I would do anything for this dude. Just an outstanding human, you know what I mean? Once in a while he comes trains with me Saturday mornings in California, and it's just amazing, man. I mean, this guy sends me motivational memes. He sends me a text here and there. Like I said earlier, he would send me his matches so I could critique. I was like, bro, really, man? I was like, come on. And just, it's just a great dude all around. And I told him, and I say it again, I will, anything for that dude. It's like anything. I'm there for him no matter what.
Same here. He actually did somewhat similar a thing for a different podcast that he was on, asking me, hey, how did you think this went and stuff. I'm like, dude, amazing, love it. And I'm actually thinking of trying to get him back on, because last time I had him on was kind of getting ready for that benefit show of his that we talked about. So I'm thinking about trying to get him back on so we can talk about, like I kind of said about him more towards the beginning, how he's kind of making up for lost time there with all the, having been out because of cancer, and then now he's back in it, and he's all over the place now.
Bro, he moves like a 20-year-old. I was like, oh my God, bro. It's like, I can't even keep up. I'm a little younger than him, but even then it was like, bro, it's like you move like all these damn kids now. Like I take it slow now. It's like I gotta calm it down, because I'm low by the time my intro is over.
Oh yeah, no, it's like, every time I'm amazed, because like I remember he was actually in my first ever independent wrestling show, and then I can't remember a show that I went to when I was still in San Diego that he wasn't on. He was just everywhere.
Face of SoCal.
Definitely. Now, I have some kind of random questions. Some might be wrestling related, some might not be. I really never know completely what I'm going to put on this list until I'm literally putting my notes together.
Okay.
First one, really one of only a couple that I try to keep on here at all times because I love hearing these stories. Craziest in-match moment for you?
Craziest. I mean, I could just say just recently that I can remember because, man, I had this match for this company in Palmdale called NTLL, which, by the way, I'm going to be wrestling tomorrow. When I'm recording this, I had a match with this kid named Chris Nasty. It was for their championship, their Gladiator Championship in a ladder match. Granted, I haven't had a ladder match. I've never been in a ladder match. Hell, why not, right? Let's book it.
Yeah, why not?
Match is doing great. We're doing our stuff. I'm about to suplex them off the top of the ladder as I'm bringing them over, and we land on the mat. The ropes cave in, and the bottom, the top ropes just biggest pop of the night. It was just amazing, just great. The crowd going crazy. We're like, yes, we got them. What else are we doing next? I'm like, okay, cool. About to finish the match. I'm climbing to grab my championship because I'm about to win, and then this kid decides to grab my actual child that was in attendance, grabs him, and then just tosses him to the side. Oh, bro.
Yeah.
What's more important, my child or a championship? I could always get a championship. I'm gonna go protect my child. Don't put your hands on my kid. I go down there as I'm climbing down the ladder, trying to get out of the ring. He tosses one of the ladders on the outside, hits me right in my throat, just splits me open. I'm out. I just see my blood just pouring down. Hits me one more time, right in the center again. It's like, dude, I was like, oh my god, this hard way not going well. I literally blacked out for a bit. Climbs up, takes the championship home as I'm trying to recover, and my son's there next to me trying to comfort me because he's at the same time like, shit, you're bleeding. I was like, yeah, hold on. But yeah, I had to go get I think it was 7 stitches on my right on my hairline.
Oh boy.
I think that's one of the most recent crazy things that happened in the ring. It's like things that wasn't supposed to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But overall, it was a great match, and it was just great. Big shout out to the boy Chris Nasty's doing big things.
Yeah, I've been witness to a couple crazy ladder match moments, and I've heard some other crazy stories. That one definitely a crazy one for sure. I know a guy that wrestles here locally. He ventures out, but he was in this promotion's version of the Money in the Bank ladder match where they had, kind of illustrate with this pen, guardrail bridge between the ring apron and the guardrail. And I see him with this guy on him, like Sheamus in the White Noise, the head down here, and I see him kind of look down at the ladder, and I'm on the other side of the ring, and I'm just like, no. Looks back down, leaps, ladder folds, and I'm like, God damn.
Look, listen, those things hurt.
I can imagine
how you land, no matter how much you want to protect yourself, those things hurt. Ladder matches are, I'm gonna ask for more money next time I have a ladder match. Of
I
course,
can.
$250 more because that's how much my
I'll cover the.
man.
Oh man, and then one of my personal favorite stories that I've ever heard was actually with, and I haven't talked to him in a little bit, but JD Griffey, who part of Shane Taylor Promotions, and he was talking to me about a show that he was doing where he had a thing with Keith Lee, and they actually had I believe it was Keith Lee's mom actually in on this, where it was like she was coming in and then he like gave Keith Lee's mom like a stunner or something.
Yeah.
And then the crowd went nuts. Like they went running out of the arena, and he looked back and all of a sudden around the corner, here comes Keith Lee. But behind Keith Lee, like a whole shitload of the crowd coming, like trying to chase after him. Oh,
it gets crazy, bro. Like people get really like. Well, another time, I actually was wrestling the same kid, Chris Nasty, a few years ago, maybe 3 or 2 years ago. We were in a cage match. I think they just went up all these crazy matches.
I was gonna say when you mentioned the ladder match, then a cage match is like holy shit.
His family was there.
Oh,
and why we beat the living shit out of each other. His family, I remember one of his cousins was threatening me.
Oh no.
Threatening me because I beat him and he was waiting for me in the outside. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna get my ass kicked. I was like, because I beat up the primo. I was like, oh man. People get wild, especially when you have your family around, bro. It's like,
oh yeah. Nope, I can imagine. Now, I love kind of hearing. I have my own playlist for different things, like literally a whole big ass list. But wrestling, you guys like not just independent wrestlers, people on the big stages too, traveling up and down the roads, whether it be sometimes by plane, but a lot of times by car. What would you say a few songs that might be on a road trip playlist?
on the road again. Oh, bro. I mean, I guess it just depends on who you're riding with. I mean, if me and Cholo are on the road, it's nothing but hip hop, nothing but Chicano rap, nothing but like Mexican regional music and stuff. You know what I mean? It's just all around. If you're going with me and I'm taking control, you're gonna hear everything from cumbias, from rock, from Led Zeppelin to Michael Jackson to Juan Gabriel, all that kind of stuff. My playlist is just everywhere. I love music. Actually, right before I started wrestling, I actually was getting into music production. So I was kind of doing some beats for my friends, and I was just listening to chopping music, editing music, sampling music. So that was one of the things I always loved. So I love listening to music and just listening and hearing the sounds, you know what I mean? So for me, honestly, when you're riding with me, you're going to hear a lot of different types. But I mean, I've always loved Queen. So Queen, regardless what it is, there's always going to be Queen on.
Nice.
That's probably one of the main things you'll hear a lot me playing. I'm a big podcast guy too, so if there's a good podcast on, I definitely gonna listen.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely have a handful of podcasts that I listen to, and when that song that you brought up when I asked the song about playlist, my wife and I have actually seen him in concert before. So it was something else. And we've been to, good Lord, I forget how many concerts. We were actually just at a concert a week ago tomorrow in the Kansas City Chiefs Stadium.
No shit.
Yeah, we were actually in the pit. And like looking back towards the rest of the stadium from down there, it's like, holy shit.
Bro, the last concert I went to was last year, and it was Rammstein here at the Olympic, what is it? The Grand Olympic Auditorium, or not auditorium, well, here in LA. But I went Ramstein, bro. I was like, man, Ramstein. I was like, holy shit, that was really good.
I'm like, that had to be pretty crazy.
It was freaking amazing. It was great. I mean, I sit close by those damn crazy guys that do the mosh pits, but you could see from far away that there's at least like 6 at one time, just in circles. It was crazy.
I can imagine. I know that concert that I just mentioned, before the headliner got started, I remember that there was a guy standing next to my wife and me, and he was like, "Are there mosh pits at country concerts?" And we were both like, I don't think you got to worry about that here. It was funny though. Next question, and I like asking this one, but I haven't had it on in a while. Who would you have play you in a movie?
Oh shit, man. Who? Anyone, right? Anyone? Man, you know what? Just because I'm a big Rogue One fan. Diego Luna would be a good one. Shit, I mean,
Okay.
that'd be.
I was gonna say it's been a while since I've seen that one, but me being a kind of a big Star Wars guy, I'm like, oh, okay, I get you.
A big Star Wars fan too, so I mean, Diego Luna is great. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we're both Mexican, so that fits really well. But I never thought about that way. I was like, dude,
I like answering it because it does kind of at times catch people off guard, because it's like, oh damn, I've not thought about that.
shit, man. I was like, yeah. Even though it's like now I'm thinking even more. I'm like, who else could play me as? I was like, man, but I have no idea. You got me stumped, but that's the only one I could think of right now. I mean, obviously, it's me, but it's all right.
Yeah, and I've been trying to. Every now and then, I think about it for myself, and I'm like, damn. And now I'm stumping myself because I'm like, I can't even think of who it would be.
I think the kid from Coco will be for me.
Oh man, god dang, been a while since I've seen that one. Yeah, been a little bit. Last but not least, best advice for anybody wanting to get into wrestling.
Shit,
Actually,
man.
you know what? Not the last one. I forgot one. But what would be the best advice you have for anybody getting into wrestling?
This one has always worked for me, and I'm pretty sure when you have Cholo, he's going to tell you the same thing. Just shut up and listen.
That would not be the first time I've heard that one.
Just shut up and listen. Honestly, just when someone, I mean, it didn't even matter the experience level, but just listen to what people are saying. You're gonna catch a lot from what everyone's regardless what it is. I mean, you could be in a ring with someone that's not as experienced with you, but at one point they maybe had a one-on-one with someone else that helped them out a little bit. You know what I mean? Just be a sponge and just take it. Don't critique yourself more than anything. Critique yourself, and then make sure that you work on your own critique, because without doing that, you're never going to go nowhere. And that's one thing I've always done too. I hate watching me wrestle, because when I see me, it's like, damn, I got to change that. I got to change that. And the first time I actually did it, the first thing I changed was my walk, the way I walk the ring. It's like, bro, you look stupid. So, that's the first thing I remember changing when I saw my first match. Well, not my first match, but one of my few first matches. I'm like, dude, I walked really stupid in the ring. So I need a walk, which sounds strange. You know what I mean? I just needed a walk. I needed a walk like a wrestler, not just a lost puppy in the ring. But yeah, just shut up and listen. Just take as much as you can. Be a sponge, and then just make sure that you're always listening, observing, and just make sure that you're always looking at to see how you can adjust.
Definitely great advice. Now, last but not least, because I would feel weird having a show with a title like Drinking at Moe's if I did not have this question on here. Favorite drink, whether alcoholic, non, or you can name one of each.
So one of my favorite beers, Lagunitas, little something something. The other beer from a Russian River, it's called Pliny the Elder.
Huh.
One of the best beers. Pliny the Elder is seasonal, so you have to, wait and get it. And you can only, if you find it anywhere in the liquor store, you can only either get one or two because that's how much these are. They're great. There's this place in Long Beach that I would go to. They always had some, and I'm always grabbing it, but I can only get one at a time. But my go-to beer would always be a little something something by Lagunitas. That's, if you ask anyone, I was going to say Mariachi Loco. His beer will always be a Lagunitas, either the IPA or the little something something. But those are my favorite, other than water.
Hey, I mean, non-alcoholic. My wife tells me I have a bit of a Dr. Pepper problem, and I love telling this joke because I kind of wise ass comment back to her. I'm like, I don't have a problem. I have it all figured out. The only time I have a problem is if I don't have any.
I think that's my son too. My son loves Dr. Pepper. I already know. Sit down in a restaurant, get this kid some Dr. Pepper.
Oh hell. If let's say I have to use the restroom before the server comes to the table. Literally, if I'm back and there's drinks on the table, I'll know at least one is Dr. Pepper. Every time. My wife actually part-time serves at this place, and the one time I was actually able to go while she was working, she didn't even ask me what I wanted to drink. Dr. Pepper. Alrighty. Right there. She brought it when she came to take my order.
So that's how you know we have a problem, huh?
I guess so. But I know I'm more of a beer drinker myself. I know for me, one of my favorites, and I had it down in Hawaii, and then I saw it, circulating around here. Kona Big Wave.
Yeah, they're good.
Love that. Their longboard is like a close second.
Yep. A lot of liquor store.
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna need to be picking up some here soon because I'm like running on like a can or two left. I'm like, I need to pick up more. Well, that is about all I have. But before we go, where can people find Loco on social media? So if they don't already have their eyes on you, they can go ahead and get them there.
Bro, I'm everywhere. I just opened a TikTok, which I sort of kind of could find me there on Keepin It Loco. You can find me on Facebook as Keepin It Loco. You can find me on Twitter on Keepin It Loco. And then on Instagram, that's where I'm usually there all the time. You can find me there on there, Keepin It Loco. So got a bunch of shows coming up. June's going to be busy. July is going to be busy. August is building up. September, I already got bookings in September in Arizona. So just, check me out. See my shenanigans and all those little promos that we've been talking about.
Definitely gonna have all that in the description of both,
people are only fans because then that will be taking over that too.
All right. Well, that is about all I have. I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to me tonight. And best of luck out there with those upcoming shows.
Thank you, Carnal. I appreciate it. It's a pleasure. Finally, a pleasure to be able to talk to you. SoCal is the one that actually hit me up about you, and he's like, "Hey." So again, big shout out to SoCal, for connecting us, and just everyone around over there. Just hopefully, I make it in your side of the hood and see what I could do over there.
That would be epic. I try to pass along people that have come on I try to
Perfect.
pass along to promoters here in the area. So we'll see what we can do.
And then when you're ever in town, let me know if there's a show around. Hook you up with an entrance or shit. We could just go have a beer.
All right. I would love that. I'm trying to get back out there here sometime soon.
Simon, hell yeah, bro.
All right. Have a good one.